Hi guys, welcome back to Super Math for You. This is Mr. Rego, and we're doing the second part of the ACCUPLACER Quantitative Reasoning, Algebra, and Stats. Alright, we're going to do a sample test for 20 questions. Let's go. Number 1. Which of the following expression is 5 times as much as the sum of R and S? Now, the sum of R and S. When I say the sum, whatever comes next will be together. How do we write things together? In a parenthesis. 5 times the sum of R and S. If you notice, they flip the order just to get you confused. Alright, the sum of R and S has to be together. How? In a parenthesis. That's the only one that has parenthesis. My answer is D. Number 2. What is the solution to the equation? A couple problems here. Fractions, right? That's kind of the problem. One thing to do is, let's get rid of those fractions, guys. If I want to get rid of the denominator, which is basically the fraction, right? If I want to get rid of those denominators, what I do is I multiply the whole equation by that denominator. If I want to cancel a 2, I multiply by a 2. If I want to cancel a 4, I multiply by a 4. Now, if I multiply by 4 the whole thing, I know the 4 will simplify with a 2. So in my case, I'm going to multiply times the whole thing times 4. Over 1 just in case, so you don't make mistakes. Remember, how you multiply fractions? Top with top and bottom with bottom. Alright, keep that in mind. So 4 times 1 is 4 over 2x. Next, 4 times 3 is 12 over 2. I'm not using the parentheses because whatever is on the outside will multiply the inside. So the only thing that I have to do is multiply the outside, and that's good enough. Next, 4 times -1 is -4. 1 times 4 is 4. And then let's make this a fraction so I don't make mistakes. 4 times 5 is 20, and 1 times 1 is 1. Once I multiply all that, now I simplify. 4 divided by 2 here gives me 2x plus 12 divided by 2 is 6, parenthesis x plus 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 20 divided by 1 is 20. And now there's no denominator, so it's a much easier equation. Alright, now the only thing that I have to do is distribute this thing, right? I have to distribute. Let's go. 2x stays, 6 times x gives me 6x, 6 times 1 gives me 6, minus 1 equals to 20. From there I need to combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. Be careful with the equal sign, right? Be careful. Combine whatever's on the same side. 2x and 6x gives me 8x. 6 minus 1 gives me 5 equals to 20. Cancel whatever's next to the x. The first one is the 5. I do the opposite. If this is positive 5, you do minus 5 on both sides of the equal sign. So 5 minus 5 is 0, cancels. I bring down the 8x equals 20 minus 5 is 15. Your last step is to leave the x by itself, which is divide by whatever number is next to it. 8 divided by 8 cancels, and then I know that x equals 15 over 8. Let's look at that as my answer, and I have an answer as C. Alright, let's go to number 3. What is the number of grams in 500 kilograms? 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. They're saying how many grams in 500 kilograms? So this is a conversion unit. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. Every time I use a conversion unit is I'm going to multiply times a fraction. One of them goes on the bottom and the other goes on the top. How do I know which one goes on the bottom and which one goes on the top? Easy. Because the units are kilograms. If I want to cancel the units that is on the top, then kilograms have to be on the bottom. Alright? What's kilograms? 1 kilogram. So I put 1 kilogram right there. And the other unit, the other side of the equal sign, I put on the top, which is 1,000 grams. Okay? Remember, this could be a fraction. So something from the top, which is kilograms, is going to cancel the kilograms from the bottom. Alright, and now I have a fraction. Top with top, bottom with bottom. All right. Top with top is 500 times 1,000. 500 times 1,000. How many zeros in 1,000? 3 zeros. I just add 1, 2, 3 zeros. And my answer is in grams. Kilogram cancel with kilogram. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is 500,000 grams. And the answer is D. All right. Little trick using conversion units. Number 4. All right, let's look at this graph and then we read the whole problem, okay? Blueberry, grape, peach. These are the flavors, year 1 and year 2. All right, year 1 is the lighter one and year 2 is the darker one. Let's go for the word problem. Robert sells 4 different flavors of jam at an annual farmer's market. That's right, blueberry, grape, peach, and strawberry. 4 different flavors. The graph above shows the number of jars of each type of jam he sold at the market during the first 2 years. Which flavor of jam had the greatest increase in number of jars sold from year 1 to year 2? Out of those 4 flavors, which one has the biggest increment from year 1 to year 2? Okay, this one is decreasing, right? It went from 35 jars to 20. So is decreasing? Not an answer. Out of these ones, which had the biggest increment? So this one went from 10 to 18. So it was 8 the increment. This one from 25 to 30, 5 the increment. This one went from 8 to 12. That's 4. This one has decreased from 35 to 20, so this went down 15. Out of the remaining 3, this one is the biggest increment, blueberry. All right, let's go. Guys, as you notice with number 4, it's not too hard. It's just read the problem and see what the question is. Keep that in mind, all right? And if you don't get it the first time, read it again and again, like 3 or 4 times. If you don't get it, move on and come back to it, okay? Don't get stuck in one question. That's something very important. Because then you're going to start getting nervous, and you don't want that. Number 5, in the XY plane, a line crosses the y-axis at the point 0,3 and passes through point 4,5. Which of the following equation is an equation of the line? Interesting. Let's go. A line crosses the y-axis at the point this. Crosses the y-axis. So this is a y-intercept. Passes through the point 4,5. Okay. Which of the following is an equation of the line? Great. So they give you the y-intercept and they ask you for the equation of the line. This is in slope-intercept form. M is my slope, B is the y-intercept. They give you the B, 0,3. This is the y value. So my y-intercept is 3. All right, I have that. I don't have the slope. I need to find the slope. Every time I'm writing the equation of the line, I need to find the slope and the y-intercept. I need those 2 things. If I don't have them, I need to find them. I have the y-intercept already. Let's find the slope. To find the slope, I need 2 points. But guess what? 2 points are given. So out of those 2 points, I need to label them. If you notice, you have x1, y1, x2, y2, right? So I have to label my points. X, y, x, and y. You choose either one. I'm going to call this my first point, and it's going to be my second point. As soon as I have that, it's just a matter of plugging it back into the formula. When you're replacing the formula, be careful with the minus from the formula, all right? There's a lot of double negatives. Not now, but you'll have many problems with double negatives. Be careful with that. So 5 is y2, 3 is y1, 4 is x2, 0 is x1. All right, plug it back in. y2 is 5 minus y1 is 3. x2 is 4 minus x1 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. 4 minus 0 is 4. And I want to simplify this. Divided by 2 on the top gives you 1. And divided by 2 on the top, on the bottom gives you 2. So my slope is 1 over 2. Now I have my slope. And remember, my y-intercept, which is B, right, is equal to the y value of this point, which is 3. Therefore, my formula, my equation of the line is y equals m. X plus b, which is 3. My slope is half. My y-intercept is 3. Therefore, my equation, my answer is the A. Excellent. Let's go. Number 6. The amount of money M in dollars Paul earns can be represented by the equation that, where H is the number of hours Paul works. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 11 in the equation? H is the number of hours work. One little thing, they're asking you, what does the 11 means? You want to go here and read the possible answers. 11 is the amount of money in dollars Paul earns each hour. The total amount of money in dollars Paul earns after working for 8 hours. So that's kind of the total. The total amount of money in dollars Paul earns after working for 1 hour. The amount of money in dollars Paul earns in addition to an hourly wage. There we go. So guys, here we go. H is the number of hours. Let's pretend that he works for 1 hour. How much he makes? 12.5 times 1 gives me 12.5. But after that, I have to add 11. Okay? So that's going to give me 33.5. Keep in mind, let's pretend that he doesn't work at all. 0 hours. Does he get paid? Yes, 12.5 times 0 is going to give you 0, still plus 11, so he makes $11. So the amount of money in dollars Paul earns in addition to an hourly wage. So whatever money he makes working the hours, he'll be getting an extra $11. So that's the extra money that he makes. First of all, it's not a total, right? This is wrong, and this is wrong. It's not total, that's wrong. And the other option that I have is the amount of money in dollars Paul earns each hour. No, the amount of money that he earns per hour is 12.5. Why? Because that's the slope. Not because of that. Because that, remember, you're multiplying the number of hours times the 12.5. If he worked 1 hour, then you multiply times 12.5. That's how much he makes, $12.5 an hour. All right? So that's the addition to the hourly wage. Let's go. Number 7. We have a table of values: France, Germany, Italy, Spain, United Kingdom. The table gives a population of the 5 largest countries in the European Union in the year 2014. Which of the following is closest to the mean population of the countries? There we go. Here's the question. We need to understand what mean means. Mean is average. In stats, mean means average. Average means if I have 5 countries, then you add all these 5 and divide it by 5 at the end. All right, that's what average means. So I need to find the average of those 5 and get this answer. So let's add. I hope they give you a calculator. All right, if not, we need to add this. So let's put a line right here. 9 plus 8 is 17. Plus 8 is 25. 30. 33. I put it 3, a period, and I carry 3. 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. Put in 8, carry 1. 7 and 8 is 15. And 6, 21. 25, 31. That's the total. So I have 318.3 hours divided by 5 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries. Okay? I'm hoping that this is going to be with calculator. Calculator, and the answer is 63.66. So that's my average. Let's check the answers. 63.66. 63.66. If I need to round that to 1 decimal place, I check the next value. If this is 5 or higher, then this goes up 1. Therefore, that's why we have 63.7. All right? Excellent. Next one. Number 8. Which of the following fractions is equivalent to the answers, right? That's an easy one, guys. We just need to solve this. The only little trick here is that we have 2 negatives, and negative becomes positive. So I stay with the -6, and these 2 negatives becomes positive. All right, so you have -6 plus 9, or 9 minus 6. 9 minus 6 is 3, and you keep the same denominator. Answer is B. Number 9. Water runs from a pump at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. At this rate, how long will it take to fill a tub with a 150-gallon capacity? The rate is 1.5 gallons every minute. the total amount is 150 gallons. Okay, what you do is, this is 150 gallons, you divide it by the rate, gallons per minute. Okay, gallons with gallons is going to cancel out. My answer is going to be given in minutes. 150 divided by 1.5. To get rid of the decimal, and I'm not sure that you're going to calculate it or not, to get rid of the decimal, guys, you move it to the right once, but then the number on the top has a decimal place right there. If I move the bottom to the right once, I have to move the top once. So this is the same as 1500 divided by 15. All right, I hope that's clear. Then 15 divided by 15 gives you 1, and you have 2 more zeros, therefore the answer is B. So I'm solving this if there's no calculator. If it's calculator, it's much easier than that. Okay, number 10. The volume of a right rectangular prism is found by multiplying the length of the base by the width of the base by the height of the prism. A right rectangular prism has a volume of 30 cubic inches. If the height is 6, what is the area of the base of the prism? This is your height. The length and the width is going to give you the base. So the question is, if the height of the prism is 6, what is the area of the base of the prism? What happens is the following, guys. You have a rectangle or a square or whatever shape is that, right, as your base, times the height. Is pretend that it's going to be pages. That's going to give you the volume of the whole thing. All right, keep that in mind. So if you find the area of the base and you multiply times the height, it's going to give you the volume of the whole thing. Now they're telling you that the height is 6. They give you the volume of the whole thing. They're asking you for the area. So technically the volume of this whole thing is width, and let's call this length. All right, this is the width and this is the length. If I multiply these two, I will get the area of this rectangle on the top. So volume is width times length times height. But if I multiply W times L, it's going to give me the area of the rectangle. Okay, and that's what they're asking you. What is the area of the base of the prism? Let's replace a couple of things. You know the volume, which is 30. The area, I don't know, but the height is 6. So I can rewrite this as 30 equals to 6a, right? Instead of being on the back, I put it in the front. Divided by 6, divided by 6. 5 is equal to the area of the base of the prism. Answer is A. Okay, next one. 11. Jacobi followed a recipe that requires 2 cups of water for every 3 cups of flour. If he used 8 cups of flour, how many cups of water did he use? This is water, this is flour. He used 2 cups of water for every 3 of flour. If he had 8 in total, how many water did he need? You see what I did? 2 for every 3. But he has 8. How many of water? That's a proportion. You just need to multiply, cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, we're going to have 3x, this diagonal, equals to 2 times 8, which is going to give me 3x over 16. And then I need to leave the x by itself, divide by 3 on both sides, x equals 16 over 3. Okay, question. Do we have that answer here? No, we don't. That means I can see some of the answers as mixed numbers, right? Because this is not going to give me a whole number, right? 16 divided by 3 is not a whole number. So that means I need to divide that. Let's divide. 3 into 16 is 5 times. Then multiply back. 5 times 3 is 15. We subtract, and this is the remainder. So that means that 3 is 5 times into the 16. Therefore, my answer is 5. And then 1 over 3. 1 is my remainder. 3 is what I divided by. Therefore, my answer is C. Next. Number 12. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression above? Let's simplify this thing. If there's a parenthesis and a number in front of it, you have to distribute. You have to distribute that 4 times the x, which is 4x, and then 4 times positive 5, which is positive 20. I bring down everything else. I'm looking at my answers to see if that makes sense. Then after that, I want to simplify or combine like terms, meaning the 4x with the 4x is going to give me 8x, and the 20 with the 8 is going to give me 28. Do I have that answer? No, I have 8x plus 13, which is not the answer. I have 5x plus 17, which is not the answer. And I have 2 with parentheses. That means I have to do something else. Because there's parentheses here, basically I need to go back and factor. Is there any common factors between the 8 and the 28? 2 times 4, 14 times 2, 7 times 4. So a greatest common factor between the 8 and the 28, as I can see, is the 4. So I get 4 as my common factor. Then I'm going to divide 8x divided by 4, which is going to give me 2x. And right now I'm doing greatest common factor. I'm factoring the 8x plus 28. My common factor ended up as a 4. And then I put a parenthesis and I divide each one of them. 8x divided by 4 gives me 2x. And now 28 divided by 4 gives me 7. Do I have that as an answer? 4 parenthesis 2x plus 7? Yes, so my answer is A. Interesting. Going back and forth. 13. It took Khalid 90 minutes to complete 40 tasks. Which of the following is an equivalent rate? I got 4 choices. He did 10 tasks in 0.9 minutes. 10 tasks in 2.25, 10 in 9 minutes, 10 in 22.5. How do I know? The main idea is that I have 40 tasks in 90 minutes, okay? But this is the rate, all right? Tasks per minute. Okay, so let's write the proportion that like we did before. If 40 tasks is 90 minutes, then 10, because all of them have a 10, that's the question. 10 tasks, how many is going to take? Remember this? A proportion, all right? So every time you have 100%, that's my 40 task. I did it in 90 minutes, and they're asking you for a certain amount of that same thing. You write it as a proportion, and then we cross multiply, which what we did. We just did it actually. 40 times x is equal to the other diagonal, which is 90 times 10. All right, let's erase. I have 40x equals 90 times 10. 40x stay the same, 90 times 10, you just add a 0. And then you divide it by 40, you divide it by 40, okay? This 40 cancel with the 40, and you have x equals cancel 1, 0, 1, 0. And 90 divided by 4, calculator, is 22.5, which my answer is D. All right, so that's this ratio. Next one. In 14, I have a table. Interesting. Let's read. The table above shows a survey of 50 registered voters in the city. Each voter was asked whether they plan to vote yes or no on 2 different issues. If a voter who plans to vote yes on issue P is randomly selected, what is the probability that a voter also plans to vote yes on issue Q? So yes on P. How many yes on Q? So out of the 20, 8 would also vote yes on Q. So my probability is 8 out of 20, right? Why 20? Because that's the many people that are going to say yes on P. So the probability that both the vote of yes on P and yes on Q is 8 out of 20. Let's find the answers. In decimal form, I need to divide again. So let's practice division. Mine as well. So it's 8 divided by 20, okay? Is the 20 into the 8? No, it's not. So I put a 0, period, for decimal places, okay? And I add 0 to the 8. Now, how many times is the 20 into the 80? That's right, 4 times. 4 times 20 gives me 80. Subtract 80 minus 80 is 0. Therefore, 8 over 20 as a decimal is 0.4. My answer is C. Next, 15. Which of the following values is equivalent to 5 to the negative 3, negative third power? Interesting. All right, let's go. So I have a negative exponent. To make it positive, I need to make a fraction. This 5 to the negative 3, if I write this as a fraction, is going to be over 1, right? If I have a negative exponent, to make it positive, I need to flip it. Right now, the 5 to the negative 3 is on the top. To make it positive, it's going to go to the bottom. As soon as I move the power to the bottom, my exponent turns from negative to positive. If there's nothing on the top, you put a 1. All right? That's the rule. 5 to the third is 5 times 5 times 5. 25 times 5 gives you 125. So my answer is B. Next one. More exponents. 16. Which of the following expression is equivalent to this? First of all, there's a product on the inside. When you multiply two powers, what you do is you add the exponents. So you're going to get x to the third times x to the second is x to the 3 plus 2 is 5. The exponent on the outside stays on the outside. When I have two exponents, this is a power of a power. What you do with those exponents is you multiply them. 5 times 5 is 25. My answer is C, 17. The elevation of the summit of Mount Whitney is 4,418 meters above sea level. Climbers begin at a trailhead that has an elevation of 2,550 meters above sea level. What is the change in elevation to the nearest foot between the trailhead and the summit? Couple things. The information is given in meters. Change in elevation is how far from here to here. So you just need to subtract. But the trick is, answer is to the nearest foot. So it's not meters, it's foot. So be careful. So whatever we get from here, we need to turn that into feet. And they give me that 1 foot is equal to this. Interesting. So it's a tricky question. Let's go. Difference between this and this. 8 minus 0 is 8. Can I do 5 out of 1? No. Cross out. Borrow from here. That turns into 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 3 minus 5 you can't. Borrow from here. That turns into 3. This turns into a 13. 13 minus 5 is 8. And 3 minus 2 is 1. This is in meters. All right. Normally, they should give you this answer as one of the answers, to try to trick you, because that's what they do, guys. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that. We need to turn this into feet, okay? Same as before, this is a conversion unit, all right? So I got to multiply times a fraction. Let's make this a fraction, number 1. I want feet on the top, and I want to cancel the meters from the bottom. So 1 foot is equal to this. 0.3048 meters. Meters from the top will cancel meters from the bottom. Top is going to give me 1868 meters. No, meters canceled already. This is going to be in feet. 1 times 0.30, this is 3048. Let's divide that. 1868 divided by 0.3048. 6128.6. 6128.6 rounded to the nearest whole is 6129 in feet. Remember, that's my units. Excellent. Let's go to 18. The two lines given by the equations above intersect in the xy plane. Xy plane means the coordinate plane. What is the value of the y coordinate of the point of intersection? Okay, so I have two lines. They're asking me for the y value. Let's visualize the equations on the coordinate plane. Let's pretend that the first one, 3x minus 2y 15. Let's pretending. I have no idea how the line is. Let's pretend that is that. But the second one I do know. X equals 3 is a vertical line. 1, 2, and 3. That goes through 3. I know that one is a vertical line. X equals a number is a vertical line. Alright, y equals a number. Let's pretend that's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, just quick information right there. So this is the point intersection. It's going to be x and y. They just want the y value. Actually, we know how much the x value is because it's going to be 3. Interesting. There we go. So guys, just by visualizing this graphically, I can tell you how can I do this. All right. We know the x value, we need to find the y value. How do we find the y value? Plug it back in here. All right. So we know that x equals 3. Plug it in there. 3 times 3 minus 2y equals 15. This is 9 minus 2y equals 15. Minus 9, because I need to leave the y by itself. That's going to give me negative 2y equals 6. Divided by negative 2. And the y equals negative 3. Answer is B. Let's go to the next one, 19. I have 3 sets, L, M, and N, right? They're shown above. Which of the following sets represent this? Which is the union of L with the intersection of M and N. All right. So guys, this U is union. This is intersection. We have to do, this is in parentheses. So we got to find the intersection of M and N, and then that answer, union with L. Let's do intersection. Intersection means what's in common between M and N. So I see that the 10 is in common. The 20 is in common. And that's it. So intersection between M and N is 10, 20. So we've done this. Union is putting together things. Is everything included. So included L union with this. So my answer is all L, which is 0. And then, but hold on, is the union with this. So I start with 0, 0. The next number is 10, because I'm going to increase in order. The next number is 20, which is here and is here. And then I finish with these 3 numbers, 40, 80, and 100. Therefore, my answer is 0, 10, 40, blah, 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 100, B. Okay, let's get to the last one. So 20 is giving me a triangle. Guys, by the way, if this is helping, please make sure you like the video. Liking the video helps me because it puts the video in the algorithm, YouTube algorithm. So we need the like, all right? So please go ahead and like the video. If this is helping, subscribe to the channel. Much more information coming. All right, actually, there's a 3rd video of this series coming in next. All right, let's go with 20. Triangle PQR lies in the XY plane, coordinate plane. And the coordinates of vertex Q are 2, -3. Triangle PQR is rotated 180 degrees clockwise about the origin and then reflected across the y-axis to produce triangle P', Q', R', where vertex Q' corresponds to vertex Q of triangle PQR. What are the coordinates of Q'? Interesting. So first of all, triangle is rotated 180 degrees clockwise and then reflected across the y-axis. So it has 2 transformations. It has 1 rotation and then it has a reflection across the y-axis. All right, so let's go over here. Rotation clockwise. All right, so guys, 12, 3, 6, 9, and 12, right? Clockwise is this way. Just keep that in mind. That's clockwise. Counter is the other way. All right. So clockwise, I'm going this way, but it's 180 degrees. So if my triangle is in this quadrant, 180 degrees, it will be in this quadrant. Remember, here it will be 90, right? 90 degrees. Then here is 180. Then here is 270. Just to make sure that we think about, the degrees. All right, let's go. So what happens when any figure, in triangle, any figure for that case, gets rotated 180 degrees, which means my signs, guys, will change. Okay, so let's go with Q, because I think that's the question. Q is 2, -3. If it gets rotated here, the signs will change. Okay, the x-axis, that the x value that is positive here will be negative, and the y value that is negative here will be positive. So when I have that rotation, both signs will change. That's what's going to happen. XY changes at negative x, negative y. This is basically changing both signs. So the 2, 3 will be into change 2 into a negative 2 and change negative 3 into positive 3. And that will be the coordinates of my vertex Q. Negative 2, 3. Hold on. Oops, almost made a mistake. I apologize. It gets rotated about the origin, but hold on. It gets reflected across the y-axis. You see that answer was there? That's to trick us. I haven't reflected across the y-axis. So let's reflect this across the y-axis. So my point Q is going to be negative 2, 3, which is negative 2. And 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to be Q prime. Okay? Negative 2, 3. Now it's going to be reflected over the y-axis. Reflected over the y-axis. Reflection means we pretend that here on the y-axis there's a mirror. Okay, and this is going to go to the other side. What happens is this height stays the same. So the y value is going to be the same, right? It stays at 3. Now, if I am 2 away from the axis, right, because I'm at negative 2, then by reflecting, I'm going to go to positive 2. So this point will be right here. So my point will be 2, 3. All right, the one that gets reflected or changed is the x value. It goes from negative to positive. So my answer is 2, 3. Stay tuned for the next video. All right, for the third part of this ACCUPLACER practice test. Like the video, please. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.